fifth game without their star point guard, Briante Weber. And a change to the starting lineup tonight. Shaka Smart has inserted Doug Brooks for his first start this season, taking Melvin Johnson's spot as a two-guard. Johnson had started all 29 games this season for VCU. And the starting lineup for Davidson features Tyler Kalinowski here on senior night. He makes his 60th consecutive start over the last two seasons. He's among league leaders in just about every offensive category for Davidson. A Davidson team that has been a little bit small, but they get a little bit bigger tonight. Ali Mackay gets a start on senior night. He'll be at the 4 spot in his first start of the season tonight on senior night. And VCU in the row. Black controls the tip.
Priority for Davidson right there. They want to keep points out the paint because they're not the biggest, strongest, or toughest team in the interior.
And a jump ball right off the bat as they didn't just double the post. They quintupled the post on the entry from Cox, trying to get it to Travion Graham. And here we see our first edition of Havoc as VCU sets up their full court press. They get nearly 25% of their points off of turnovers, almost 19 a game. Brian Sullivan running the point now for Davidson.
If you're Davidson, you have to be strong with the dribble and the pass, just like they practiced in shoot around. Look for a lot of ball fakes. Fake up, pass down. There you go. Just a simple play like that.
Here's Sullivan again. This is Kalinowski, their leading scorer, better than 16 a game. They lead the nation in an assist to turnover margin. They are an unselfish offensive team, but the shot clock at 3. And Mackay was forced to put it up. So on senior night, Mackay gets a minute in, and he is replaced by Jordan Barham.
Now for a senior, first possession won't hurt you, but go ahead and get one. Try to get one in the books. But the young man that just subbed for him, my goodness, Jordan Barham, get ready for some dunks, block shots, because he plays above the rim.
Here's Jaquan Lewis taking Briante Weber's spot at the point for VCU. Shaka Smart said, I told Jaquan he doesn't have to be Briante. He doesn't have to be that type of player. He needs to be his own kind of player. It's a tough shadow to try and step out of, and Lewis is off the mark with his first attempt. Davidson finds a loose ball as Sullivan comes out of there with it. He will push. Pace will be fun tonight. And quickly inside to Barham.
You talk about pace. These two teams are in the top 20% in the nation with possessions. They average over 65 possessions a game. That means you don't need a 30-second shot clock.
VCU loves to run. They can't keep a hold of the basketball. Barham came out with it. No numbers for Davidson, and so Kalinowski will peel it out.
Good closeout by VCU guarding the three-point line because Davidson is lethal right there behind the arc.
10.5 per game, and there's the first of what should be many. Jack Gibbs. Timeout taken by Shaka Smart.
Gatorade, and both of them have the same kind of success, but they do it loud, quickly, and sharp.
So turnovers the issue for VCU here early on. Graham is off the mark with his jumper, and it's ripped down by Barham. He's only 6'4", folks. You can see the rise that he has. Sullivan crosses his man over.
VCU has to give themselves a chance to set their defensive pressure by making shots. Right now they've had some good shots, but it's contested. Davidson wants to do the same thing on the defensive end that VCU does, not give any open jumpers.
Terry Larrier into the game now for VCU. Liberal use of the VCU bench by Shaka Smart. They get 33% of their offense from reserves as it's thrown away by Gibbs. That's twice Davidson has looked backdoor. The passer saw it, the receiver didn't.
And it's settling in. This is senior night. This is a huge game. This is a home crowd. And they lost already to VCU, so the emotions are going to be running high.
Size advantage for VCU, but Mo Alley Cox ran into the rim. Here come the Wildcats.
I like where Davidson gets to their shooting pockets quickly. Their feet are set on the secondary transition.
There's the back cut, and it works for the first time. Peyton Aldridge, the freshman.
How do you break down the defense? Ball movement and people movement by Davidson.
Doug Brooks with the first bucket. His first start, and here comes Kalinowski the other way. He'll tee it up. Can't leave him open.
Body language. Shaka Smart saying you can't leave the open three-pointer. Once you score, you can't get in a home run trot. You've got to get back quickly.
Twice Mo Cox has missed from point-blank range. And Kalinowski lost it across the baseline. Oh, they're saying stays with Davidson. Here's the Wildcats offense in a nutshell.
What's the ball movement? Ball movement and people movement break down the defense. Look at that right there. The extra ball for the easy basket.
Davidson a perfect 4 for 4 from the floor to start this game. I thought Shaka Smart had a great word to use to describe how he wants his team to play defense today. He said you must defeat the screens.
Exactly. It might be a moving screen. You might get fouled on it, but you have to play through it. And look for VCU to settle in, especially on the offensive end.
5 for 5 start from the floor for Davidson.
Right now, Davidson is carving them up like the Marcus Zorro with that back door, spreading them out.
A Rams turnover, their third of the night. Not built to go inside to Mo Cox, who only gives him 7 points a game.
Well, Mo Cox is built for it. You talk about built. But again, you got to play to your strengths. When you get open shots, you got to finish.
Barham! And Cox got a piece of it.
Whoa.
Take it right back. 2-on-1. 6 points early for Jordan Barham.
Davidson is winning every facet of the game right now. The hustle board, the 50-50, the activity, the fire. They're winning every dimension of this right now.
Another miss from inside the paint. Jonathan Williams now on the floor for VCU. Melvin Johnson is entered for the first time. Their fantastic freshman Terry Larrier came in early for Shaka Smart. Here he is. Back to Larrier. Shot clock at 4.
Good defense.
Wide with the 3.
Good defense by Davidson. They'll give you side to side, going east to west. They don't want you north to south.
VCU 1 for 7 to start this game.
And no turnovers yet. Hadn't turned Davidson over.
Gibbs off the mark. The first miss from deep for Davidson. And now Larrier on the run. Good body control.
Got a little Paul George flavor about him. Nice and long, smooth, 6'8".
Davidson no problem with the diamond press. Kalinowski draws a foul from Jonathan Williams. It's the first on Williams.
Now they're 10 4-minute timeouts, and Davidson wants to win 7 of them. They definitely won the first block. Let's keep an eye on that, see if we can monitor that. That's why they want to control the tempo, control the game.
It's one of the check marks for head coach Bob McKillop.
With the beautiful game.
Andrew McAuliffe enters the game for Davidson, as does Oscar Mickelson.
Still Davidson committed to moving the ball. That's a big time shot right there. His feet are set. Take that one.
They missed 2 in a row now. And he goes back to VCU. What do you want to see from VCU on the offensive end, AB?
Slow themselves down a little bit. John Wooden would always say, and my coach Lefty Drizel, be quick, but don't hurry. So they need to slow themselves down a little bit. I like them walking it up. And then now try to get inside the lane. Davidson is committed to that first, second shot opportunity.
Johnson took a bump, left it short. Shaka Smart said the biggest thing wrong with his team right now is they're just not making shots. He said that this afternoon. It has manifested itself tonight. Kalinowski and Davidson has missed 3 in a row from deep. They take 27 threes a game, and they make about 10.5 of them.
And had the best assist to turnover ratio, but they play so well because on the fast break, they have the secondary fast break. If they don't get an easy layup, they're still moving, still cutting, trying to wear defense down.
Here's Travion Graham. He's been bothered by an ankle injury about all season. His left ankle still wearing a brace on it.
Good defense by Davidson, taking away that priority. See where now VCU is fishing. They don't have Javonte Reddick out there, that post player that can score inside the paint.
Jaquan Lewis with the floater, and he banks it in. a starter, he's giving them 13 points due to the loss of senior Briante Weber.
Well, you won't find a more positive person than Shaka Smart. We asked about Briante, and he had to take a deep breath.
Yeah. Sullivan rolls one home. Davidson had missed each of its last three. Weber out with a knee injury, had surgery on Friday. He usually goes on the road with the team, but still recovering. Larrier.
Melvin Johnson had an excellent ball fake to Larrier for an open shot, and that's where they're talking about you've got to hit those open opportunities. That was a great pass.
Sullivan lets it fly. There it is. His first three. His 71st of the season. Davidson is chock full of three-point shooters. Larrier got it. And a chance for a three-point play for the highest-rated recruit in VCU history, Terry Larrier.
Young man is showing me something. He's got a slim body, but under control. This is a good defender right here. Jordan's a solid defender, but rising up. There comes a time when you have to win your individual matchup. Plays like this, Sullivan bombing away. Bang! He's been playing well, controlling the tempo. Now he just rewarded himself and his teammate with a three-pointer.
Now Terry Larrier with a chance at an old-fashioned three-point play. The majority of his attempts have come from deep. So he's making a concerted effort to get into the lane tonight.
Yeah, he's too good of a player right there. I like Shaka's got himself a nice little recruiting class. They were 14th in the nation this year, and then already has a top 25 coming in. Talent will help you get in the NCAA tournament.
And it'll help you win there. No doubt about that. And both of these coaches have had success in the postseason. Ten-point lead for Davidson. 67% shooting to start the game. First takeaway for VCU. Open floor. Lewis lost it. He got stripped by Jack Gibbs. And it's more than the pressure. It's the leadership and
the swagger.
Yeah.
The imprint. And you saw that last play that Lewis had where he took the ball and went down and got himself a layup attempt. That was Briante Weber. Led the nation in steals. This young man had it going on the defensive end.
It's every time they press, it's a risk-reward proposition. As Graham is too strong, it's another miss. I think that's 4 misses inside the paint for VCU tonight. And so not only is the risk just as great, but the rewards are coming less often for VCU in their diamond press. Unable to turn teams over as much without Briante Weber. They're getting about 4 points fewer per game off of turnovers without him.
And one thing I noticed as well, he only had 1 turnover a game, 4 steals a game, 4 assists, but only 1 turnover. As fast as he played, he was not a high turnover player.
Melvin Johnson thought that one was good. It took a lap and fell out. And VCU is 0 for 3 from deep tonight. Back cut, layup. Kalinowski with his first 2. He's got 5.
It's a simple formula right now. VCU is doing everything. They're competing. They're sharing the basketball. They're not taking bad shots. But they've got to have some marksmanship and hit what they take. They hadn't been able to do that yet. Tough shot. Tough shot. No rhythm on that.
Yeah, Jordan Watkins right in front of him.
Yeah, that was a bad shot. Now watch Davidson. They score easily. These guys will move the same way. But when they get their feet set, it's a likelihood it's going to go. Except for that one. Come on.
Numbers for VCU if they push it. They got 5 on 3. Brooks has nowhere to go, and he picked up his dribble. So Jaquan Lewis trying to get into the paint. That's their 5th miss in the paint thus far tonight. And on the offensive rebound, Mo Alley Cox will have a chance.
Talk about 2 quality teams and 2 quality coaches, and look at the ball movement. The back door easily feeding off of each other. Right there, the precision. You want to beat the pressure by going back door, changing a pace.
So Mo Alley Cox to the free throw line, just 61% from the line on the season.
man looks like he could be a tight end. Good long arms. Hey, strong base.
Don't think NFL scouts haven't looked at him. Think about what Antonio Gates did coming out of Kent State.
Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
This young man's got tight end written all over him, and I love his arms. One thing I look at it for a basketball player, how long are those arms? Because the rim is 10 feet, and you can get close to the rim, those long arms.
He's got a 7'2" wingspan.
There you go.
He misses them both.
VCU has not rewarded their effort by making shots or layups right now, throwing free throws. Pace has settled down some. VCU settling back in.
Here come the Rams. Williams reverses it in. Nice move by Jonathan Williams for his first bucket. And the answer the other way. You know, not a whole lot of teams want to run with VCU. Davidson happy to do so.
Well, we're seeing this is how they're in the top 20% in the country. Both teams with pace. You don't need a shot clock. They're looking for early offense or to break you down before the defense gets set.
A foul on the rebound as Brian Sullivan tied up his man.
Good drive right here. But again, once you get it in, this is where they want to. Coach McKillop wants to get them back with early offense before the defense gets set, and they themselves get an open layup.
That was a third team foul on Davidson.
With that matchup out there, if this holds the same way, Larrier should try to come off the screen and rise up. There's no one out there that can block his shot.
Call back on the floor for the Wildcats. Brooks able to work it inside to Justin Tillman.
The one thing VCU is getting mileage out of is points in the paint. Davidson has been able to knock down three-pointers where VCU hasn't knocked them down yet.
VCU's bench has outscored its starters 9-4 here in the early going.
Good cut. Excellent cut.
And the kick to Barham. Our discussion with Bob McKillop today centered around the fact that within this offense, it's as much about feel and routine and spacing.
Well, yeah, he said precision because they're not the biggest team, not the strongest team. So they have to be focused and they have to be precise.
Gibbs with the kick. Ball fake for Sullivan. Another one. Timeout. Shaka Smart.
Page on VCU because usually VCU is the one that initiates good offense through their defense.
Larrier for two. VCU can't hit from the perimeter. They've missed 5 inside the paint. Nothing is going right for the Rams on a 6-for-21 start to this game. Those are bad losses.
Yeah, but you talk about the tiebreaker right now, and they own that one with Dayton. So they're the one team that can control their destiny if they can continue to win games.
And what a difference. You go from the 29th ranked conference, the SoCon.
Yeah, to about the 8th and 9th.
Yeah, was the 6th last year. And so you don't have to win the conference tournament anymore to get in. Taken away by Jack Gibbs. He just stole it from Terry Larrier. Davidson has never gotten into the NCAA tournament as an at-large. Always automatic with the SoCon tournament win. McCullough with the foul tip. And it's all Davidson.
Now, there are 2 plays that Larrier just went to school. On the ball fake, that's a tough shot. No, good shot. But Larrier on the ball fake just got beat in the tip-in, and then when he was coming down on the break. So as talented as this young man is, he's still learning on the job. Watch for the backdoor cuts with Davidson. They've been getting mileage out of that, or set three-point shooters.
They ruled that last shot a 2. I'm sure this fine officiating crew will go back and look at it when they get a moment.
When you play Davidson, you've got to have defensive patience because of that right there.
Wow.
Nice pass. What would you just say, Tom? Watch the backdoor cut.
It's like the Princeton offense without a big man.
Princeton never looked this good with the flavor. These guys are sharp. Who are the knuckleheads that said they were the last place team in preseason? Shame on them. This is ridiculous.
Well, that was A-10 folks, two things weren't really familiar with this Davidson team, and they lost 6 seniors off last year's team. That happened once before against Davidson. Before Steph Curry came in, they lost 6 seniors. They were picked to finish 3rd in their division in the SoCon.
Well, look at the plays that they're making right there. And, oh, by the way, there's a guy named Bob McKillop that's one of the winningest coaches in his generation. He's an outstanding coach.
64 years old. He says the move to the A-10 has him energized, feeling younger. He said, it feels like I've taken a new job. 10 times he was named the SoCon Coach of the Year. And he might take home the A-10 honors here in his first season in this league.
Davidson is still committed to cutting hard, making VCU make a decision to try to get a miscue so they can get an open layup. They've gotten mileage out of back doors cutting.
Sullivan, deep 3. No matter. He is feeling it tonight.
VCU's not a team to go to a zone. They may consider that because they hadn't been able to cut off both the backdoor points in the paint or the three-point shooting. Good drive and kick.
And there's an answer for VCU. First bucket for Jordan Burgess.
You can see a basket before it's even shot with the good ball movement and the shooter with his feet set.
As good as Davidson is, they've put up 3 air balls already tonight from deep.
See them breathing hard as well. Davidson is playing hard.
Well, and that brings me to my next question, AB. This is a VCU team that we know, as Aldridge picks up his first personal, that can go on a run. They can do it with their defense and forcing turnovers. The question is, how big a deficit is too big down 18?
Well, if you're three-point shooting, if it was Davidson, their three-point shooting, 18 is only 9 baskets. It's still plenty of time because you have a second half to make the adjustments. For VCU, they've gotten points in the paint, but they have to continue to get high possession offense. They can't be sporadic, getting a shot, turnover, shot, turnover. Got to be consistent.
Yeah, 18 or 6 threes, and they're not a great three-point shooting team as Brooks pushes off for his first personal foul.
Accentuates the point right there. They had a good driving kick. Burgess just made a three-pointer on that last possession, and then you get a turnover. So offensively, it's been uneven.
Ryan Sullivan having a night already. He's got 11. The pressure causes him to pick up the dribble and a near steal.
My goodness, VCU has another gear. That was a good possession coming out still, and this is without Briante Weber. Just imagine if you had this young man, the nation's leader in steals.
And nearly set the all-time NCAA record.
What was it, 12 steals?
He was 11 off. Well, 11 to tie behind Linehan from Providence back in the day. He was a 2-time A-10 Defensive Player of the Year.
Davidson's been able to withstand the pressure of VCU. VCU's trying to stick close to him.
Gibbs threw it into coverage. Kalinowski has to fire with 1 on the clock. Graham with the rebound. Travion Graham has yet to score tonight. He's 7th in the league in scoring at 16 a game. And that ankle's really bothering him. Burgess, no. Another one rims out for VCU.
Yeah, you can see Graham right now limping on that ankle, and he's had that problem since January, that high ankle sprain. It's been nagging.
He missed 3 games with the ankle injury. He could barely get down the floor. We got a foul on the Davidson side on the drive by Lewis. First 4 out behind Texas. Adrian Brandt says, get him off the screen. They're done. Wave him off.
Why you put me out there like that? Come on, Toss. I got with some games. Sitting there, Danny Manning left it really nice.
Oh, left stocked.
Ooh, my goodness.
Another one for Jaquan Lewis coming.
I'm not going to sign language besides you anymore. I'm not going to sign. My dad taught me how to sign
But
language.
here's the bottom line. As VCU goes to its press off the miss, is every one of those teams is flawed. You know, you're on the last 4 out this year. There's a reason. But first 4 out, I should say.
The value of playing in a Power 5 conference, though, is that tournament. If you can win the tournament or get to the championship game, you can make a run.
Great hustle on the offensive rebound by Davidson. They almost came away with it.
Remember Georgia and Coach Felton made that? Tornado hit it, SEC tournament. They won. out there. That was huge. NC State with Sid Lowe back in the day. So that's the saving grace with those Power 5 conferences.
And you wonder in this Atlantic 10 if somebody outside of the top 3 or 4 wins it, what happens to the other bubble teams.
You always hope that doesn't happen.
Another miss. That's the 6th miss from inside the paint for VCU. Beautiful feed from Lewis and a rejection on the other end from Aldridge.
For Allie Cox, work on free throws and layups. And when you shoot your layups and warm-ups, mean it. This young man has missed way too many layups. He's got to reward his offense. Point-blank range.
Cost Jaquan Lewis an assist there. Here's Gibbs back outside to Kalinowski. Now Barham. And we got a jump ball possession arrow VCU.
It'll be interesting to see if VCU can make a run in the second half. This is their pace. They play with havoc and intensity. And right now, Davidson, though they have a sizable lead, they're breathing hard. Look at their hands on their hips right now.
4th steal for VCU. They average 9.9 a game, 4th best in the country. There's Mo Alley Cox fighting for a rebound, and he'll earn a trip to the free throw line. It's a 2nd on Jordan Barham.
Hey, look, for the Rams, they don't have to throw away and scrap their offense. There just comes a time when you're inside the lane, 5 feet inside the lane, or get to the free throw line. You got to shoot yourself a soft free throw.
Mo Alley Cox has another one. It may be spring break for the Davidson fans, but the one fan behind the basket who's been showing off a little too much has just been handed clothes by a local constable.
I thought it was the young man getting subbed in. I didn't see the guy in the stands.
It's worked. Mo Alley Cox missed another. Davidson's been held without a bucket for the last 4 minutes.
Good spacing by Davidson, playing with a purpose.
VCU, an unforced error. Burgess stepped on the end line. Their 8th turnover tonight. The young man has put most of his clothes back on with the police officer.
Shake his hand, man. He's sitting there.
It was a Speedo, okay? Spring break, a lot of people are in
shake his
swimsuits.
hand. Come on, raise your game. Shake that man's hand. In Australia, they say, dirty little bugger.
What a half defensively for Davidson. And they put up 36 points to boot. Now taken away by the big fella. Mo Alley Cox about ripped the rim down. His first bucket, 6-0 VCU run. Kalinowski got it. Davidson has answered every single VCU play, it seems.
Resilience, tough, determined, playing with a zeal. All of these opportunities, when VCU gets a play, they come back quickly, and this is a strong drive. The senior's last home game, he wants to make a statement. Coach McKillop said he wishes there were 12 of them like this. His motor said he's like a young John Havlicek. I said, Coach, I must be old because I remember him. I know my man Tom doesn't remember. Hondo.
National championship with Ohio State. He said he's the Davidson version of John Havlicek.
So in other words, for the newer generation, he's like a Robbie Hummel, moves without the basketball. Hondo, man, he's a Hall of Famer. We're sitting next to 2 doors down from a Hall of Famer, Bob McAdoo.
That guy could score a little bit.
I insulted him. I didn't mean to insult him. I said you had 35 against my Washington Bullets back in the day. He said it was 2 games of 50.
He gave me the thumbs up. He said it was a little bit higher.
He said, I don't remember that. I do remember 2 games of 50. I said, I'm sorry, Mr. McAdoo. I was only 10.
17-point lead for Davidson. What a dominating half. Kalinowski working one-on-one on Lewis, and he draws a foul.
You see that play there? That's a love of the game. You're competing. You're going against a guy that's quicker than you, but you take on the challenge, and you won that possession. Right here, the spin move, and then raising up. There comes a time when you have to win your individual matchup. He won it on that possession. Let's see if he can pay it off with free throws.
He's been a great shooter his entire career, 3rd in school history with 226 three-pointers now. Some guy named Steph Curry hit 414 threes in his time here at Davidson. 2 for 2 from the line for Kalinowski.
Now for VCU, Shaka Smart's going to go in and say, we've played a good floor game. Look at all that scoring. That's a lot of shooting. And then nothing like having your sons up there and you got a green light to pull the trigger. Look at that one right there.
Past both McKillop brothers. Most points VCU's given up in a half this season besides their shootout against Toledo back on November 18th. They gave up 45 against the Rockets, but they won that game. That was at the Siegel Center. That was home in front of a friendly crowd. Sledding's been tough tonight for VCU.
1-3-1 zone. They want to keep penetration out the middle. I like that changeup.
Here's Graham. No. And it's yanked down by Davidson. Travion Graham scoreless in his first half. And you say, wait a second, that's not us. The numbers will come closer to normal in the second half, and if they do, can we make up a 19-point deficit?
Well, they can cut into this lead if they can get some stops, and then offensively, their offense can't betray them.
They missed 7 shots in the paint by my count in the first half, and the other killer is Shaka Smart wants 32 deflections a game. They had 6 in the first half. They just haven't been active enough defensively. Here's a deflection and a steal and a foul. Oh, they got a jump ball.
Well, letting them play. They're letting them play. That was a good possession.
Doug Brooks was in a chokehold on the floor after this ball. Watch him.
It's all a matter of perception. If you're the home team, they're saying great hustle.
Brian Sullivan able to lock him up.
All right, here's VCU. They've got to get those opportunities. They could have called a walk.
Offensive rebound by Burgess. Back out to Jaquan Lewis. And on his way skipping through the paint, he draws the foul. That one will go on to freshman center Peyton Aldridge.
There's plays like those. They got to stop in the deflection on this end, and now they're getting to the free throw line. If VCU looks at this tape, they were getting shot opportunities inside the lane, breaking down a very good defense, a determined Davidson offense. So they've had their opportunities. You just got to show some skill and knock down that three-point shot.
Yeah, and it wasn't just Mo Alley Cox who missed a couple in the paint. And now Jaquan Lewis makes them both, the sophomore from Dixon, Tennessee. Here's the pressure.
See if Davidson gets tired, too. They were breathing hard. They played well, but they were breathing hard that first half.
The majority of their offense comes from their starters. This is a Davidson bench who was outscored 12-0 against George Washington last game out. Offensive foul on Mo Alley Cox. Kalinowski went flying on that one. It's the first personal on Mo Alley Cox.
Well, that's where you got to sharpen the field for the game. If Mo raises up right there 5 feet from the basket, there's no shot blocker. Go up. Just shoot the little jump hook off the glass. There's a bad possession there. Rise up. Got to have that feel for the game. Davidson in the first half got mileage off a screen and slipping it to the basket for a backdoor cut.
Reach in on Brooks, his second personal. You don't want to end up with Davidson at the free throw line if you're VCU. They lead the league 73% from the charity stripe.
Well, if you're a Davidson fan, it's all about Barnum. It's all when he scores in double figures. they've been outstanding.
Yeah, 13-0 this season, 19-2 in his career. In 6 of the last 7 games, it's worked out. And there's Barham with the follow and the foul. That's Brooks. It's his 3rd. It's already the 3rd team foul on VCU this half.
Young man came down, landing on his ankle. This is what they did in the first half, beating VCU to the ball on the broken plays, the second effort. They're matching the intensity of VCU and one-upping them by getting to the free throw line or making their shots.
Jordan Barham from Cleveland, Ohio, out of University School, trying to walk it off. You know, they've got a host of guys from Ohio on this Davidson roster, right? Gibbs, Sullivan, Barham, Aldridge. Kalinowski was actually born in Ohio, then moved to suburban Kansas City. And you wonder how that happens. Well, it just so happens that Matt McKillop, now married to his beautiful bride, at the time she was living in Ohio. So every time he went to go visit his girlfriend, he took along his recruiting notebook.
Yeah,
he
stuck his head
in
in
some
the
high
gym.
schools. Yeah, I would say those trips to Ohio paid off. He got a bride and he got so many great players.
You're saying he got game on and off the court. That's what you're saying.
Oh, we knew he was a shooter, right? Little leaner goes. It's a first bucket for Travion Graham, their leading scorer. Wow, Davidson answering again. Barham another time. Straightaway 3 is no good. VCU is now 1 for 8 from deep. And we got a foul on the floor. That'll go against Jack Gibbs, his first.
VCU is doing a better job of getting an offensive fluency at the basket. Now they're starting to accumulate fouls. They're getting offensive rebounds because they wanted second chance points because of the missed shots.
Graham, another bench shot. So buckets for Graham now. 2 within 20 seconds after going scoreless the first 22 minutes of game action. Pressure by Johnson, and they just got it across the timeline.
Davidson being patient. They're not trying to jack up bad shots.
Graham overplaying it, picks up the foul, his second.
Good ball pressure right here. I like that stutter step right there. Could have called a foul. The home crowd was booing on that one. But that was a nice hesitation dribble by Sullivan. Now, where will the scoring come again for Davidson? They have 3 three-point shooters out here, and the offense has been dictating the best shot in the first half.
Off the curl, Gibbs, no. And it's brought down by Melvin Johnson. He did not get the start tonight. First time in 30 games this season. Kalinowski got the strip.
Larrier's biggest challenge right now is just that he's young. He's got the DNA of a high-level basketball player.
Gibbs.
VCU has gotten mileage out of a high screen and roll where Lewis comes off sharp, turns the corner, and gets out inside the paint on plays like this.
Johnson got bumped by Sullivan. That's the third on Brian Sullivan.
Young man's got a chance, but right now on the road he's going through growing pains, and they make you pay. Any mistake in this game, Davidson has been making VCU pay.
This is Larrier, gives it up. Jonathan Williams trying to make it happen, and that one's stripped by Gibbs.
Davidson defensively is beating VCU at their own game, playing 2 and 3 possessions ahead of their moves. So that's where you're seeing the strips and the deflections and the runouts.
Think about the history of Davidson basketball under Bob McKillop and their postseason success. They're never known as a lockdown defensive team. They're a team that was always going to outscore. Took it end-to-end to hit a leaner to force overtime. North Carolina beat Duke in double overtime.
We were upset at that one. We wanted them that year.
Yeah.
Len Bias was getting good. We wanted Michael Jordan badly. We were upset when they hit that one. We wouldn't want to take the ACC tournament, by the way.
That counts for something as well.
You heard Lynn Elmore's story 2 days ago.
I did. Larrier gets the roll. That's his first bucket of the second half.
That's a good recognition that when you get that close to the basket, you got to rise up because you don't have the shot blocker that can contest that shot. This young man, let's check back in another 2 years, see his body get stronger, see his game get better. This young man has a chance. Be a very good player.
He was recruited by UConn and Florida, the highest rated recruits.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't take you can see 1 or 2 possessions and say this young man can play.
Kendrick Warren was a McDonald's All-American back in the early 90s. Jonathan Williams doesn't like that whistle. It's his 3rd personal foul.
Now for Davidson, they said playing against LaSalle, Rhode Island, and GW has helped them with this style where you have an aggressive defense, a pressing style, and you see them able to run. What, they have only 9 turnovers in this game. Bob McKillop believes in a beautiful game. Talking about you want under 15 turnovers. They're, averaging 9 or 10 this game. They're doing an excellent job against this pressure.
Yeah, averaging 9.5 a game. Foul jam from Barham. A baker's dozen for the junior from Cleveland.
And if you're a Davidson fan, 13-0 when this young man is in double figures, 19-2 for his career. The missed shot has been the best friend of Barham. Bang! Anything around the rim, 6'4". Oh, he's explosive.
Was left unchecked after VCU went for the block.
There's a young man I played with in New Jersey called Jamie from not from VCU, Virginia. Jamie Waller. This young man was built just like him, 6'4". Looked like Mike Tyson out there, but he was explosive. Same body type.
That was the 3rd personal on Peyton Aldridge a moment ago. Gibbs with the steal. Another takeaway from Davidson. They have 13 points off VCU turnovers. And there's Barham again, another offensive rebound, and Davidson keeps it alive. I think the bigger question, AB, as we get deeper into this game, and a VCU team that is on its way to losing its 3rd consecutive game for the first time in the last decade. They're firmly in the postseason. They're firmly in the NCAA tournament. But can they get right between now and the NCAA tournament? They got one more regular season game. They've got the A-10 tournament.
Well, they've got to get some offensive playmakers. Right now, their offensive playmakers aren't doing anything. Jaquan Lewis, who's got the quickness, he's got inside, but they hadn't made the defense pay. Ollie Cox, oh my goodness, young man, you can make a living double-double machine, but also has not been able to make layups.
Yeah. So
right now, it's the offense. It's not the defense. It's not the attitude. Got to make those shots inside.
They got a piece of it blocked on Cox. Don't forget Travion Graham playing with that high ankle sprain. He only has 4 points tonight. A wide open look. Kalinowski knocks it down. 227. And we'll see if he will return tonight. I figure with this lead, they don't likely need him the rest of the way.
Now, I'm interested to see the leadership for VCU. What are they going to do? Where are they going to get high possession shots?
Kalinowski. It's one of those guys that every time it comes out of his hands, he looks like he's going to put it in.
Well, he doesn't have any wasted motion. Got a nice high release point, and he got a beautiful backspin on his shot.
Burgess didn't make the three a moment ago, but takes it inside for his first bucket this half. 20 points is the lead now with 13 to go.
Gibbs got away with a push-off right there. It looked like Rajon Rondo with a stiff arm.
Gibbs has tied his high for assists. McCullough gets an easy look.
This is where if VCU could come down and cut into the lead, making three-point shots, it would help their labor. Because right now, laboring for offense, they're going 2 points at a time, where Davidson can dial up a three-pointer.
Davidson has hit 8 of 20 from deep. They've assisted on 2/3 of their field goals tonight.
It's been a complete performance for them. Inside the arc, moving the basketball, getting fouled, shooting a high percentage shot. Going into the last time out, they were lights out, 56%. And then from the three-point line, 46%. They've been on fire.
And the bad news for VCU's, that's the 8th foul, 1-1 now. Davidson will be shooting the rest of the game.
You might look and say VCU plays a lot of players, but you look at VCU, you look at Arkansas, you look at teams that play with a high tempo, you've got to have the body parts to play 4-minute burst and then go sit down and let somebody else play.
Nicholson knocks the first one down. ESPN's journey to the tourney continues Saturday on ESPN. 9th-ranked Kansas takes on number 15 Oklahoma as part of our Saturday showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. Well, it's been a great rivalry over the years. Danny Manning back in the day played for the national championship against Oklahoma. Now he's up the road coaching at Wake Forest. Williams with the and one. It's a second on Jack Gibbs. I'm sure you still remember Mookie Blaylock and Stacey King. Stacey out there rolling dice in midcourt back in the late 80s, and #1 ranked Oklahoma team.
Big personality, Stacey. Big fella now.
Yes. He was a big, and now he's a big.
Oh, yeah. Double park. That's my man. I love Stacey. He can play left-hander, could score. Doing a great job calling games for Chicago, I believe.
For the Bulls. Yeah. Kalinowski's got 14 tonight. Gibbs a career high with 8 assists, matching his number that he put up early this season against Montana. We got a foul away from the ball.
Good call. Both of them double foul. That's a good call.
Double foul on Oscar Mickelson and Terry Larrier.
One thing the referee, this crew has done, they've let him play because it's an aggressive style. And also Davidson, they create contact as well because they cut hard. They make you make a decision.
Oh my goodness. This kid is fun to watch.
That's one of those one for the road on senior night. He's going to remember that shot right there, that rainbow. That was pretty.
Davidson has led the entire game. I start thinking about this Davidson team, maybe, and you look at where they might end up in the NCAA tournament. They could climb a few seed lines here throughout the rest of the regular season if they win the A-10 regular season title, and then in the postseason tournament. I don't care if they're playing on a Thursday afternoon or Friday night in the first round. There will be a lot of folks that are going to adopt this team because they're so fun to watch.
They're a disciplined team. VCU's a disciplined team as well, but the separation has been on the offensive end. Now, you get a team that can go basket for basket or compete reasonably with them on the offensive end, you'll put pressure on Davidson. But Davidson hasn't been disturbed by that havoc pressure in this game.
Baseline jumper. Melvin Johnson's first bucket. He usually gives him 12 a game. Johnson held to 2. Travion Graham, the 7th best scorer in the A-10, held to 4. Too easy. 6 now for the freshman Aldridge.
When I see Kalinowski, he just has a love for the game. He plays every possession, the three-point shot, the rebounding, even the 50-50 balls. This young man is a competitor.
Bob McKillop's team has put its mark on the A-10 here in their first season in the league, leading the league in points. 7th best in the country in scoring, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage, assist to turnover ratio, They lead the nation in that number. Talking with Coach McKillop at shoot-around today about the challenges of entering a new league. And I've heard from a lot of coaches over the years that say, you know, sometimes it's hard. You get to know new places, new coaches, new personnel, how they coach games, what their tendencies are. Well, Coach McKillop kind of flipped the script. He said, I look at it the other way. They have to prepare for us.
Yeah, and Shaka Smart as well, going into a new league, coming from the Colonial, said the same exact thing. It's a new team and atmosphere they play against, but they also have to play against us.
They dominated in the Southern Conference, 74 years in the SoCon. They had a 43-game conference win streak, and they won 28 of their last 29 games in the SoCon.
This has been a masterpiece for Davidson with the passes. It's been crisp passes. You don't see a lot of ball deflections by VCU where they want to get 38, over 30 deflections a game. Hadn't been the story here.
Barham back on the floor after twisting that ankle. The goal for Shaka Smart is 32 deflections a game. And we're talking about that today. He said that may not be realistic now because Briante Weber was averaging 11 a game.
By himself.
Yeah, you just aren't going to make up those numbers, so we know we may not get to 32, but that's still the goal. They have 10 deflections today on 49 Davidson possessions. So that is a far cry from where they want to be here if you consider this the final 10 minutes, the fourth quarter of the game.
Sure, and if we're being honest, we both were expecting a slugfest where VCU, this has not been their best effort on the offensive end. Defensively, they're competing. But again, as young guys, a lot of times if you're missing shots, that will affect your effort on the defensive end. They're only human.
Davidson with another takeaway. 13th turnover for VCU tonight.
I remember Bob McKillop saying that they play a lot like Belmont, Rick Byrd, where you see the three-point shooting, the ball movement, the extra pass. And Davidson is a lot like that. They say they recruit the same kind of player because of the high academic standards.
VCU team shooting 40% for the game, just 1 for 11 from deep. They've actually outscored Davidson by a point here in the second half.
When we talk about the segments, there's 10 segments in a game, those 4-minute blocks, and it's 5-1 right now.
Yeah, that's what the Davidson coaches use as one of the parameters for being successful, is to win 7 of those 10 segments. They didn't lose one single one of them in the first half. One was tied. The second segment was tied, but otherwise that was an indication of their dominance.
It's just like if you're a boxer and you've got that one jab that you can go to that the other boxer doesn't have. For Davidson, it's the three-point shot. They've got that one jab in their arsenal.
Now 5-1 and 1 tonight in the 4-minute segments. Gibbs hits them both. That last foul was on Jaquan Lewis, his third. Mo Alley Cox trying to power his way in. A little deceiving for Cox. He's such a big guy. He's only 6'6", though, but he's a wide body.
And long arms, explosive. Nice package.
Aldridge follows his miss, and it's off of Davidson.
Now, for Davidson, they have a win streak of 7 in a row.
Yep.
They've dominated this. If they go basket for basket the rest of this game, they win by 22. Let's see what they do from the rest of this game going into the 8-10 tournament. They have been on fire, playing extremely well.
And this is a Davidson team which really wasn't being mentioned, not only within the league, but nationally. And now with his 7-game win streak, Joe Lenardi has him in the tournament as McAuliffe picks up his first personal foul. And a win tonight will only help.
Well, Tom, they're peaking at the right time.
Yeah, this will be their second top 50 win. They have one against Dayton with an RPI of 28. A non-conference strength of schedule of 234, which really isn't that impressive. In fact, It's not very good at all. So it's one of the reasons Davidson doesn't want to be in that discussion. They want to continue to take these steps, you know, further into the tournament.
Well, remember last year in the conference, if they beat a lower tier team, their RPI would go down. Their strength of schedule, SOS, would go down. So it pays off being in a better conference.
Yeah, definitely an advantage for Davidson. Tyler Kalinowski is Larry Brown has done.
I like what Larry said, that if they had Emmanuel Mudiay, 6'5" point guard that's playing over in China, they'd be a Final Four team.
Got a foul on Barham, his fourth.
SMU made a statement the first time when they went to Tulsa and won. I think that jump-started the rest of their season.
VCU now in the double bonus. And Jaquan Lewis to the free throw line for 2. Lewis has been in double figures 6 of the last 8 games. He's got 5 tonight.
Yeah, there's still a lot of positive things for VCU. Right now the offense has been really dismal. But you talk about trying to finish this season strong, but next year they're going to be loaded as well because they're restocking and they've got some big young guys.
We got a foul on Brooks, and it's almost like this crew saw, that's his 4th, by the way, saw the way Davidson went down and said that had to have been a foul.
Davidson has withstood the pressure of VCU. When VCU gets a double team, they are usually not fouling on this one. Right here, that's a good quick trap. And usually they're not fouling on that one. Looks like he lost his balance.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Jack Gibbs has another free throw coming. He's tied his career high in assists with 8. He had a game earlier this season against Montana where he went 12 for 12 from the free throw line. 28 points, 8 assists, couple of steals. And that same night, Curry went for 28 and 3 threes against the Orlando Magic. Anytime you do something in a Davidson uniform, it's immediately compared to what that Curry kid has done or is doing. And he's turned himself into an MVP candidate out west.
Solid performance.
Nice
ball
look.
movement. Nice pass. Excellent pass. These guys have taken on the challenge of VCU, making the extra pass, finding open shooters and cutters.
For Gibbs, he's got 14. Largest lead of the game for Davidson.
This game is getting away from VCU because they're going 2 at a time, where Davidson is dialing up the 3-point shot.
The only question at this point is when the senior Tyler Kalinowski will return to the floor for Davidson. Never before they've gotten in as an at-large. It may not happen this year because they'll be one of the favorites in Brooklyn to win the A-10 tournament. Larrier with the steal.
Shaka Smart has gone deep into his bench. He's trying to find a combination that can jumpstart some offense.
He's got Michael Gilmore on the floor. Justin Tillman now. Tillman, the freshman from Detroit. Williams with the left hand gets a trip to the line.
Now, Williams has consistently got inside the left.
Jonathan Williams to the free throw line. What an amazing job Bob McKillop has done here at Davidson. You've heard it year after year after year when they were in the Southern Conference. Picked to finish 12th in the Atlantic 10 this year after losing 6 seniors from last year's squad. And Adrian, they haven't skipped a beat They had Virginia. They had a lead at Virginia back in December. They're scheduling the same way. A couple of ACC teams sprinkled in here and there.
Yeah, they'll play anybody. They'll come out and play anybody. But it starts with Bob McKillop. First of all, everyone's on the bus. And then they pay attention to detail. Look at the spacing, the extra pass, the commitment to the team.
We were talking with him about it today, and he said one word that really hit home with me, and he said it's something that every good player has a part of. It's simply focus.
Focus, that's right. It's not optional. Got to focus and pay attention to detail, because he says we won't out-jump them. We're not the strongest team, so we have to wear them down with execution. And tonight, it's been a masterpiece.
Aldridge has 10. The move to the Atlantic 10 has benefited Davidson in many ways, not the least of which is on the recruiting front. They've said Aldridge is a kid that probably doesn't come here if they're still in the SoCon, but he's an A10 level player. Second field goal for Johnson.
Now for VCU, they've got to get more balance to their team. Defensively, there's a commitment. They play hard. They're well coached.
Michael Gilmore committed his second foul. And VCU's a little bit chippy tonight, and so Mike Eads will step in. Break it up.
It's good spanking right now. Upset right here. Much to do about nothing.
Slapped at the ball after fouling Kalinowski.
But for VCU, they've got to get a score. They've got to get a go-to guy that can get baskets, and especially when the shot clock is running down. That's going to be a challenge for them if they don't turn this around heading into any of these tournaments.
Senior night for Tyler Kalinowski. He's got 18 points. He comes from an athletic family, Adrian. His dad played football at Purdue. His grandpa played in the NHL for the Toronto Maple Leafs. His aunt played on those legendary North Carolina women's soccer teams. Won 4 national titles with the Tar Heels. And his other grandpa, Ken, ran track at Ohio State. I mean, that is just throw a dart at the map and you've got a different sport, a different state, a different school.
This young man is representing himself well coming down the home stretch. Yeah, that's impressive.
Terry Larrier is the leading scorer for VCU tonight with 10.
We asked Shaka Smart when this really became his program. And remember, he said that Anthony Grant left him some tough guys, competitive guys. And really after that Final Four, it was really more of his program, putting his stamp and his DNA on it.
Yeah, a senior-laden team that had so much success in the postseason.
Jamie Skeen. Those guys went to the Final Four. They were tough.
Talking about his favorite NCAA tournament moment before the game today. Challenge was Gilmore with the block. Here's Kalinowski. This kid is incredible. You're not going to stop him on senior night. He's 4 away from his career high. Said his favorite moment was in the Sweet 16 against Florida State. They drew up a baseline out of bounds play with 7 seconds left. They got the game winner and then eventually moved on to the Final Four. Of all the other successes, it was that one play. They come from behind and knock off Leonard Hamilton's Seminoles. It's a third on Jack Gibbs in the open floor.
Yeah, that was a magical run. A lot of people didn't believe they should have even been in the tournament. And Shaka says that's why we don't listen to people. We went out there, made a statement, Final Four, and this young man is so humble. Refreshing. He's one of the good guys in the coaching profession. Both of these coaches are outstanding. It's good for the college game.
It's great for the college game.
And again, they're talking about the shot clock and the NIT, which I like. It's going to be a controlled environment with good competitive games. But these two teams don't need a shot clock.
Doug Brooks re-enters with 4 personal fouls. My only concern there is that we draw any hard and fast rules off of what would be a tiny sample size when you consider how many college basketball games are played in the season, and then you get into one postseason tournament. But
what do you mean? Give me a for instance.
Well, I mean, how many 32 teams make the NIT, right?
Sure.
You only have a handful of games. There'll be more games played this week than are played in the entire NIT. So let's not jump to conclusions based on a small sample size.
I'm jumping. I'm jumping both feet. I'm doing cartwheels because me, Joe the Public, does not want to see the Van Gundy New York Knicks grinding it out. I'm coming to see some action, some dunks, some three-point plays. And in the street ball game, you're not passing it around that many times. You're attacking.
My counter, just for argument's sake, because we've got a 24-point game. My counter to that is if teams can't shoot with a regular shot clock, they're going to be better shooters when we have to rush through their possession.
And not so much a better shooter. In fact, I think that they also, if they're going to 30 seconds, also take 3 seconds off the backcourt so they can get it over in 7 seconds.
Well, let's just do away with that rule altogether. That would be my. Why do we need?
In Indiana. And these guys talked about their last 10 games. They don't do that anymore. But if you're talking about hot teams, Davidson, if they finish this thing out, will win their 8th straight. With VCU, first time, this is new territory, losing 3 in a row.
Yeah, it hadn't happened in a decade. Yeah, I went through this afternoon, I poured over the NCAA nitty-gritty report. And I wasn't just looking at Davidson on their own, but the other teams around them.
That have schedules like that.
Well, not just the schedules, but around them in the RPI or where Joe Lunardi has them in last 4 in or first 4 out. Indiana hasn't beaten a top 50 team on the road. UCLA has bad losses of their own.
Right.
Oregon State,
They have flaws. They have flaws.
Yeah,
yes.
a lot of flaws. Now,
yes.
I like Temple's numbers really well. They played Kansas, Villanova, Duke. They only have 2 top 50 wins, but they played 9 top 50 games.
Right.
And I say let's reward those teams, especially in the non-conference, to step out of the league and take on top opponents. Here's Gilmore. It opened up for him, and he gets his first field goal.
Good experience for VCU's young team. These young guys playing on the road against a hot, determined Davidson. But you're right. All these teams have flaws. To me, Tom, it would come down to if we put one of these teams in, can they win?
Larrier with his second personal foul. And you could also consider this. I mean, we're not talking about horseshoes and hand grenades, but Davidson led Virginia at the half in Charlottesville. If they win that game, we would have been turned on to Davidson back in December instead of the national media starting to pay attention in February, which is really what happened once this win streak started.
That's a great point. Coming into a new league, a new branding, they really had to establish themselves. And you can see that when they were rated 12th in the tournament. People didn't know them in the A-10.
Kalinowski on senior night with a nice ovation. .22 points for him, a few off of his career high. His classmate, Ali Mackay, has entered the game. Mackay had multiple hip surgeries. He's been less than 100% his entire career. He got up the first shot of the game for Davidson in his first start this season. And we'll see if they can't get number 22 in white a touch here in the final 2 minutes.
He's wide open right now. He's wide open.
Don't forget Utah and Washington State coming your way from the Palouse right after this. Watkins, a freshman. To Mickelson. Mickelson's hit 41 threes on this season, and he only plays about 9 minutes a game.
We've seen the best of Davidson tonight. You didn't see the best of VCU's offense tonight, and that was helped by the attitude of Davidson. Davidson did an outstanding performance and were wonderful. This is the way to go out if you're a senior.
Davidson has put 80 points on VCU tonight. Second most scored against the Rams this season. Northern Iowa scored 87, but it took them double overtime back in the second week of December. This was a pretty win for Davidson. Bob McKillop's Focus Beauty School. They won 7 of the 10 4-minute segments. And that's just a snapshot of how they dominated this VCU team tonight.
That's his branding, Beauty School. When he can shoot the offensive shot above 37%, get to the free throw line, limit the fouls, and of course the turnovers, that's Beauty School to him. Shaka Smart, his branding, his Final Four where he got with his attitude is Havoc. And Beauty Scoop beat Havoc tonight.
Rusty Regal on the floor as well for Davidson here in the final minute of action. Regal drives in an open look. The freshman's in the scorebook. And Regal's got a rebound.
Say hello to two proud programs, because VCU will want to return the favor next year or if they play again in the tournament. But they've got to get an answer for some offense, get some easy baskets, because the offense is not clicked.
Hey, I wanted to point one thing out. We talked about Davidson's lack of strength of schedule, 234 non-conference. One of those games was on the road at Montana. They had to return the favor from a bracket buster game a couple years ago.
Yeah, within 2 years. That's right.
The senior Mackay with a nice ovation after an injury-riddled career and a chance to see some minutes tonight. Matt Williams now on the floor for Davidson. Kamal Faines is there. Manu Yamukas.
Simple formula executed today. Simple formula, control the game, make your shots, and limit points in the paint. Davidson executed the game plan.
Williams steps on the sideline. Davidson strengthens its tournament resume tonight. For VCU, they're into the NCAA tournament, but the question remains, where do they go from here? Now without Briante Weber, they've lost 3 in a row. They're 2-3 without their leading point guard. And you got to think, at the least, the NCAA is going to take that into consideration when it comes to seeding.
Yeah, well,
on Selection Sunday.
And it's going to be a quick turnaround because they play again Saturday and then the tournament next week in Brooklyn. This season is far from over.
Davidson will go to 22-6, 13-4 in the A-10, and their win streak grows to 8. VCU now 11-6 in the conference, 21-9 overall. Bob McKillop gets win number 493.